A goal of mine is to get my music placed in TV, film, video games, and all types of advertisement media. And while I'm still working towards that grand goal, I definitely have a lot of experience pitching my music to music supervisors in different libraries. So today, let's talk about stems and whether you actually need them for sync licensing. The short answer is not necessarily always, but it definitely comes in handy to have them ready and available. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so if you're not familiar, stems are the isolated elements of your track. So think of things like drums, bass, vocals, synths, things like that. So editors loved having the individual stems because it gives them more control when placing your music under dialogue or fitting it into a scene. It just makes it easier for them to kind of have more control over that entire process. So what's actually required? Here's what I've seen. So most of the time, you really only need an instrumental or maybe an acapella, depending on if you have a full song with vocals or if you're just submitting like an instrumental or a beat. Now, if you're submitting to a big brand, ad agency, a top tier show, something like that, they may ask for the full stems, but most likely, especially if you're doing for smaller placements, micro syncs, that kind of thing, an instrumental or just a clean version is usually enough. Also, if you don't have stems, you could sometimes use AI tools to help with this. There's different AI stem splitters. Tools like splitter.ai can usually help isolate tracks. I'll post links to two of those tools in the description below, but it's not perfect, but it's pretty good for light use. You know, it gets the job done just if you're in a rush or in a hurry. So why it matters, even if they never ask for stems, having them is always a good thing. It's just good to be ready. You know, you stay ready, you don't really got to get ready. And then if they do happen to hit you back and they ask for those stems, and they need them fast, you're not really scrambling to get them. You already have them. You just hit send and shoot them over the pack that you bounced out. Also, if your track gets a last minute placement and they do need stems, but you don't have them, it's a pretty strong possibility that you may lose that opportunity. So it's just always good to be prepared. So bottom line, get your stems when you bounce the track. It doesn't mean you're gonna always need them, but having them could sometimes be the difference between almost and landed. So that's it, guys. If you like this type of content, leave a like. Let me know if you want to see how I organize my tracks or how I make a stem pack. Leave that in the comments below. But yeah, that's all, y'all. Catch y'all next time. Later.